Welcome to round 7 of the V8 Supercars by NXTGEN Racing. Today our drivers are in New Zealand, just outside of Christchurch on the South Island at Ruapuna Park. Now known as the Mike Piro Motorsport Park, it isn't as internationally known as many on the calendar, but the short 2.069 mile track is expected to bring action-packed racing all the way. Hello to you all, my name is Andrew and today we are back with as live coverage of the NXTGEN Racing V8 Supercars Championship from Ruapuna Park, powered by PlayStation 4 and Project Cars 2 and presented by NXTGEN Racing Leagues and Andy 81287 broadcasts. Now last time out we had the Bathurst 100, the spectacle race of the season. That was won by the championship leader, as always, Scooby G, at the front of the grid. Last time obviously there was no as live coverage of the race due to it being a live commentary stream. I will put a link below to the live stream. And also the other reason being as well that the replay wouldn't save that long enough, so it just wasn't possible. But we are back this week for this short quick lap action, and we are going to get straight into the point now and get into it with the qualifying lap, which is on board with the number 43 machine of Satch 68. So here we are on board with the number 43 machine down the Concut main straight and coming up to turn 1, full speed, 6 gear, short sharp turn there, very easy to get it wrong and you're hard the brakes through that turn, down to second for some drivers into the Flexopass corner. Through the carousel straight, which obviously isn't straight because there's a short right hand bend, and then into the pothole. Very tricky left hand corner, a lot of run out, you can get it really wrong there, and then down the gears into the Kelford Camtech hairpin. Very tight, first gear for most cars, getting on the power is very tricky on the exit. Little short shoot, wee shimmy section into the Fulton Hogan. It's a right hander, you need to watch the curb on the inside, you can end up stunt driving it through there, and then through the left hander as well as you come up to the crown left carousel. Second or third gear, depending on driver preference, you want to get it into the apex in the middle of the corner and then let it run wide. Short straight and then down into Jeff's corner. This is a right hander, you can take a little bit of the inside curb, run it wide, and then back to the outside for the left hander at Cookram Nissan. You can easily get it wrong on the way out of there as well. Down the Dunlop straight and then hard on the brakes into the final corner, the Rock Sweeper. Very tricky corner, but you can get it on the power very early. A bit of runoff on the exit here that Satch has taken and across the line, and that is a lap of Ruapuna Park GP track. Very short, looking at about a 1 minute 20 for a good race lap and possibly even quicker for qualifying. So that was a lap off Ruapuna Park here in New Zealand, and what a qualifying session it was. As for the second race in a row, in fact the third race in a row, the Frenchman, the Farmier in the number 4 machine with a scintillating lap time, 1 minute 18.4, a full second clear of NGR Scooby G, who I can confirm is British despite the fact that it shows the Czech Republic flag up on there. He was a full second down the championship leader, so a brilliant lap from the Frenchman. We're hoping to make something up from that in the race. Scooby G, the championship leader, in second, a 1:19.4. And then third place is third in the championship, which is the Frenchman Satch 68 in the 43 machine, who we just watched take us round the track. Fourth in the grid is the number 44 machine of Vidikas in a 1:19.8. Those drivers are the only ones to get under the 1 minute 20 mark. Fifth on the grid, RS Jim, who missed Bathurst last time out due to being in Ibiza, if I remember correctly. Hope you enjoyed it, sunshine. And he was the first of the 1 minute 20s. Just behind him was Edu in the number 6 place in the 29 machine, followed by Ben Sully in 7th and Slider Gas in 8th place, with Whitford taken up 9th and Rico being in 10th. Those guys all in the 1 minute 20 bracket. Moving on to the rest of the field there, you can see it in 11th, the Les. He was the first of the drivers in the 1 minute 21, so 1 minute 21.1, 2.7 seconds off of that pole position time. Ropsky, the Belgian, in 12th for a 1:21.5, Andy in 13th, unlucky for some, 1:21.7, and last on the grid, just shy of 4 seconds down, 1:22.3, was NGR Lagger himself. But that is qualifying all done and dusted. It is now time to head down onto the grid for the grid walk. Now this track is not as internationally known as we said early on in regards to some of the tracks we head to on this calendar, but it is a very fast-paced and rewards clean and consistent driving from the drivers today, and it's going to be interesting to see just who can make the best of that in today's race. So we're going to head down to the grid now, and we are going to go through the grid one more time before we get into the action today. So here we are on the grid at Ruapuna Raceway, waiting for the start of round 7 of the V8 Supercar series on NXTGEN Racing. We have a nice grid of what looks like 14 cars to deal with today. Let's jump down onto the grid and go through each one. On the pole, as you seen just a moment ago, looking through, is the number 4 car of the Farmyard. This is his second pole in a row, having taken pole last time out in Bathurst as well, and he will be looking to convert this into a victory. Second on the grid, the championship leader in the 34 machine, that is of course NGR Scooby G, and he will be looking to consolidate even more of a lead in the championship race from today's race if he can get ahead of the very fast Frenchman who sits alongside him on row 1. Third on the grid is also third in the championship, and that is Satch 68 in the 43 machine. Been very consistent all year so far, all season, and he'll be hoping to gain ground on the top 2 before the end of today's race. Fourth in the grid in the very similar coloured machine is the number 44 of Vidicas. He's had a bit of an up and down year so far, up to now, been very quick, but with some mistakes have also dropped him down the field in some races. He'll be hoping to eliminate some of them today. Fifth in the grid, the number 1 machine, is RS Jim, hoping to keep up with Scooby G at the top of the leaderboard, but from 5th in the grid and with a couple of fast cars in front of him and around him, that could be a tricky task today. 6th on the grid is the number 29 machine of Edu, again another very fast driver with a bit of an up and down year with some good results, including a win at Dubai, but obviously some results as well that have seen him drop out. He'll be hoping for none of that today here in the South Island of New Zealand. 7th on the grid, Ben Sully 2000 in that number 15 Cash Show machine. Again, another lovely qualifying there from Ben. He'll be hoping to consolidate that and possibly move up the order and benefit from any issues up front. 8th on the grid, the 38 machine, which is Slider Gas, a very consistent middle of the grid performer he has been this year, and again he'll be hoping to do just that and more if possible from today's race. 9th on the grid is Whitford in the 77 machine. We've seen him last time out on the live commentary at Bathurst that you may have seen. Very good and consistent driver, unable to keep up with those at the front, but very quick at keeping up with those in the middle. He'll be hoping for some good results today. Rico rounds out the top 10 in the number 3 machine, and again a little bit inconsistent at times. You know, Dubai was one of those slower races for him. He finished at the back, but he has shown good run of pace in places. Can today be another one of those for him? 11th on the grid is the number 11 car, the Jed Gloves machine of Les, and he will be hoping to get up through the field today and enjoy a better race than he has done in some of those earlier this year. 12th in the grid, the number 7 machine of the Belgium Ropski, who's been having a fantastic battle with the guy who's behind him in the grid, only a couple of points between them in the championship, and he'll be hoping to consolidate and get further up the table today, and especially beating his title rival. That particular title rival is the number 12 machine of Andy, and he is of course fighting with Ropski. He'll be hoping to obviously beat his championship rival and get further ahead. As I say, there's only 1 point between the two of them. Last on the grid is the number 33 machine, and it is of course time to sound the alarm because it is the Lager Fanny himself, and he is starting at the back, so he'll be hoping to go through the field today and get up to the front of the grid. But that is your 14 runners and riders for today's race, so now it is time to get down to the front and get into the action itself. We have the 5 red lights on. And it's go, 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 and that is a fantastic start from Scooby G. A slow start from the pole sitter. Farmer has dropped back down the field a bit here. It's going to be a bit of a cluster into turn 1. What's going to happen? We're going to drop back through the field, see what's going on. Les has hit Whitford. Lager's hit into Ropsky. Ropsky's caught Les. They've got 3 cars off at the back. Andy's missed the whole lot. Going to jump back through at the front. Here comes Vidicus. He's right behind Jim. He's ran wide. He's let the tyres up. He's hit it. Oh my goodness me. He's upside down. Physics taking effect. He's on his wheels. And he is dropped right down the order. Where is Edu? Can we find the title championship coordinator? There he is on the grass. Trying to get back on. Spinning the wheels. And he's still on the grass. And he is actually joining on the opposite side of the track, so he has not gone through sector 1. That is going to cause him problems because the timing loop is not going to recognise him as have completed a lap, and that is instantly going to put him 1 lap down. That is something that he did not want to happen today. Back up at the front though, it is Scooby G leading. Farmer has managed to regain second through all the carnage. Satch is in third, keeping his position from off the grid. Jim's made up a place in 4th at the expense of Vidicus, who went flying of course. 5th is Ben, 6th is Whitford, 7th Rico, and up to 8th from 13th is Andy, who is having a look at Rico into turn 1. What can he do? Okay, not very much at this point. Les is right behind him. He's ran a little bit wide there onto the grass. He's held it together, but he has lost a place to slider gas in the process. Here we go, back with Andy and Rico coming through up to the hairpin. Nothing much going on there by the looks of it, so we will jump our way back through the rest of the field. There is Ropsky. He's got NGR Lager Fanny behind him. Edu is behind him on the road, but as I say, he's not gone through sector 1 last lap, so he is last, and Vidicus rounds out in 13th with Edu in 14th. Back to the front of the field, Scooby G coming through the carousel there. Got the Farmer behind him. It's going to be a very interesting race. Cone on the track coming up to the final corner of the carousel, so that is going to make things a little bit tricky for some of the drivers to avoid. Don't want that getting stuck in between the wheels of course at any particular point. They come over the start-finish line on the Concut main straight, heading into turn 1, which is the Plexo Pass corner. And this is now on to lap 3 already, and the leaders, the top 2, already got a couple of seconds over second place Satch. And they're one of only 4 drivers into the 1 minute 20s at this particular point in time. There's Satch in the 43 machine. Just holding off Jim, so it's second, third and second in the championship respectively at this point as of the race start. Rico's pulled away in the background from Andy, who's got Les and slider gas all over the back of him nearly, and Andy's run a bit wide there into the Kelford Camtech corner hairpin. He's tidied it all up together. And you can see Edu there at the back in the picture, but he is actually last on track, and that is not what he wanted. There's Andy getting the curves, getting a bit sideways. Not something you want to be doing on this track really. It is a track that rewards consistency and good clean driving. As we come up now to Jeff's corner and into the Cupram Nissan corner as well. Very tricky corner. As you can see there, Andy proving that very well by running wide on the way out of it. Lap 4, over the line goes Scooby G, still in the lead. He's got 1.2 seconds over the pole sitter, the Farmyard in second. And then we've got Satch another 1.23 seconds behind, and Jim just behind him as well. Very interesting start of the race. Farmyard just catching the grass there, coming through that section. We're just looking through the order So who is the closest? Looks like Slider guy. Oh, Andy's, is that Andy White? No, that is Les. Off the track there at turn 1 into the Flexopass corner. He's got it all back together. That's let Andy off the hook. Slider gas back up ahead. And Ropski now into 10th with NGR Lager coming up 12th. Vidicas 13th and NGR Edu on track is in 9th, but is 14th due to that first lap missing of sector 1. The first sector finishes before the hairpin. Back up to the front. Scooby G into Jeff's corner. Farmer gained a little bit on this lap through the middle sector by the looks of it. He's less than a second behind, having started 1.2 behind. So he seems to be getting the grip of it as they come into the rock sweeper. The final corner, second gear, third for some. Scooby getting the back end out there as he lights up the tyres with 650 horsepower. And he comes over the line. He'd done a 1:19 last lap, phenomenal lap time at the farm here, a 1:19.1. That looks to be the fastest lap of the race so far, phenomenal lap time. And he's getting sideways into turn 1 there. As you see, you've got Satch still in third, Jim 4th and Ben still 5th. He has got Whitford right behind him. Rico's 3 seconds back. He's then got 3 seconds to Slider Gas, who's got Andy kicking about all over him here as we come into lap 5. Edu right behind there on track. This is the battle for 8th and 9th on track. Andy running very wide, getting on the dirt there. That's not going to help him going into the hairpin. He's managed to get it tidied up. He retains 9th at the moment. He's got a gap over Ropski of a couple of seconds, so that's going to help him out a little bit. And 11th place is the Les, who's making up ground. NGR Lager there running wide at the hairpin. He's got Vidicas for company right behind him. This is over 12th and 13th on track. And he's managed to tidy it back up for the meantime. It'll be interesting to see how far Vidicas can get back up the grid, since he was at least still on the same lap as the leaders. Lap 6. 34 machine goes over the line. 1 minute 20 dead. 1 minute 20.6 for the farmer, so he's got a little bit of a few times back there as Scooby G over the last lap. It's going to help him out. Satch is coming under increasing pressure though from Jim behind. He's run quite wide there into Flexopass as they come along the Castro Straight and into the pothole. Very tricky corner. The curbs here are all very tricky. You get it on the wrong side and it can really just turn the car around on you. It can cause you a lot of problems. And it is a very tricky track. That's the track. It is only just over 2 miles round. And you can see just behind them and another battle going on there between Ben and Whitford too, as we keep an eye on everything going through the field. We're going to hold with this battle here on lap 6 for 3rd place between 3rd in the championship and 2nd in the championship. Very interesting battle here between these two. Very close on track, very close in the championship, very close in terms of pace as well. And they have been throughout most of the season. As we see the two leaders just disappear out of shot as 3rd and 4th place come up to the rock sweeper final corner coming down that short Dunlop straight. Imagine it holds quite well. Satch got a bit of a gap here, so we'll jump back and have a look at Ben and Whitford's battle. Ben getting a good run out of the last corner. Rico's on his own 3 seconds back in 7th. He's got a couple of seconds roughly, or a second or so over Slider Gas. Andy has dropped off the back off Slider Gas, and Ropski rounds out the top 10 on lap 7. Back to the front into the Kelford Camtech hairpin. Scooby G still leads the farm here. These two are going to be pretty close for most of the race, you'd imagine. And you can see just in the background everyone else pretty close as well. It's 3 separate battles. 1st and 2nd, 3rd and 4th, 5th and 6th, all pretty close together in terms of their own individual battles, as Scooby gets the rear end sliding through the crown lift carousel there as he comes up to Jeff's corner. This is pretty much a quick chicane. You can see the back end stepping out, 650 horsepower roughly under the rear wheels, and obviously some of the drivers use the electronic aids that are available, some don't. It is driver preference in the series to make it welcome to everybody. And obviously some don't use the traction control and the stability control. Some may do, some don't even use the ABS. but it is interesting over the differences between electronic aids as well as the difference in setups. So some are using, or the majority will be using wheels and pedals, whereas some will only be using the controllers. We're on to lap 8, it's a 22 lap race this, and Farmure is giving the championship leader a lot to think about. Coming into the Camtech corner, he's right on the back of that number 34 machine. We're going to stick with this battle for the lead just now. Very interesting battle it is indeed. And Scooby just getting a bit wide there, coming through the Fluton Hogan corner as they come up to the Crown Lift Carousel for the 8th time of asking. Looks like Farmure can take that a little bit neater on the inside line. That might be useful in terms of getting a good run out, but it is such a short straight down into the Jess corner for this double quick chicane there, so it's very tricky to get a run, and you need to be right on the money all the way around here on every single lap. Lap 9 completed, the top two still separated by less than a second. Back into third is Satch, who's 4 seconds off the lead and about 3 seconds off second place. RS Jim is in fourth, he's just a second and a half behind Satch. Whitford is 7 seconds back from Jim and 12 seconds from the leader. He holds a 2.3 second lead. You can see Adu there, still not noticing at this point that he's actually a lap down, but he is fighting there with Rico, which he thinks is over 6, but unfortunately for him, as we've mentioned, is a lap down. We've got someone off in the background, that is Ben Sully off in the background. He's going to lose a place there to Andy at least, and Ropsky as well, as he tries to get back onto the track in a comfortable manner. He's going to lose much more place. He's actually been very careful to be sensible and let everybody by, basically, so he doesn't hold anybody up at all. And he has now rejoined in 13th place. There's number 12 machine, that's Andy. In 8th place now, Ropsky, his championship rival, and the number 7 back in 9th, just behind him. These two have been running pretty much nose to tail all year long, and it shows within the championship battle as they're only a point between them. And very, very close. This one between these two is likely to go right the way down to the wire at the last race, very likely. This seems like as good a time as any to take a quick advertisement break. We will be back after these advertisements. Do you want to sim drive like this? But you end up looking more like the following? Then you need the Scooby G Sim Driving School for Noobs. Be taught the ways of the next-gen legend himself. If you don't look like this come the end of your session, then you ain't trying. Scooby G Sim Driving School. Call now. Disclaimer, not a real ad, done for the entertainment purposes only. If you believe it, then you really need to get a life. Welcome back to Ruapuna GP Raceway here in New Zealand, just 7 miles away from Christchurch, which is the biggest city on the South Island. You haven't missed anything after that lovely advert from one of our sponsors there. Well, in the background, that was Andy getting it up on 2 wheels, doing a bit of stunt driving. But in terms of positions, you have not missed a thing by going away for that advertisement break. You can still see the lead two less than a second apart, as they have been for the entirety of this race so far. And it is continuing on as we are into lap 11, so we are now at the halfway stage of this race. Let's run you through the order from top to bottom. Number 1, first place, as you can see on screen, NGR Scooby G, the championship leader, in a place he finds himself very often within these races. He's followed by the Farmure in second, the pole sitter, who set that scintillating lap but got a really poor getaway, got swamped by the top 3. To second, third and fourth place, got it back after a bit of carnage into the pothole corner. In third place is Satch. He started third, so he's still where he begun, keeping it consistent, and he has got his one of his championship rivals, which is RS Jim, just behind him in fourth. Whitford is in fifth on his own, having seen Ben disappear off a few laps ago. You can see NGR Edu behind, but we'll come to him in a second. 6th place is actually Andy at this point in the number 12 machine, and he has got Ropsky. Championship rivals, these two. Andy's gone off the grass there as well, just as we joy. He's trying to keep it tidy. Ropsky can't take advantage, the Belgium, having to stick behind the Scotsman for now. And these two are currently fighting over 6th and 7th, which they'll be very happy if they could stay there, usually kicking around about the tail end off the top 10. Andy running wide as well there again. We can just quickly jump back before we go through the rest of the order. He's kept it together for now. So 8th place is Rico, who's just catching the grass as he goes into the Cork Cookram Nissan corner. And he has got NGR Lager behind him in 9th, Vidicus in 10th, Ben making his way back up in 11th. Slider Gas was up in the top 10, he's dropped down and he's lost a number of places, and Les has dropped back further again as well. He's had another off somewhere. He is in 13th place. Last is NGR Edu, and this is where I say, coming back for anyone just joining us at this point, he's showing as being 6th on the road, but he's actually 14th and last and a lap down due to the first corner incident, where after catching and getting collected by Vidicus, who'd done a flip and a nice wee pirouette and a landing, which would have been good enough for Olympic gold in gymnastics, he was stuck on the grass, couldn't get back onto the track, rejoined on the opposite side and therefore missed sector 1, and that means that it didn't register him as completed the first lap, so that is why he is actually last and a lap down on the leaders. Going back up through the order then, and something's going on because Andy has actually lost 4 places there. He was in 6th, he's now lost places to Vidicus. Rico Ropsky's lost as well. What's going on here? Let's just quickly jump back because I might as well and see what happened between the Scotsman and the Belgium. Not often we do rewind instant replays, but something's happened here coming out of the pothole. That looks like a big one. Let's see. Into the pothole, and he just gets wide on the power. The car slides, he corrects it into Ropsky. It's a big incident. It's a good job that damage isn't on, that would have been monstrous. And it means that Ropsky at the side of the track is now off, and he carried on, but he is obviously, yeah, you can see he's pulling over. And that is just, he's going to wait for his rival to catch back up. So nice bit of sportsmanship there. He could have carried on, and he's going to lose a lot of places due to that. But that is why we race on Next Gen, because we are considerate of everybody and we race fairly. So he's going to drop all the way. Ropsky's in 12th, so he's going to drop all the way to 11th by the time the Belgians catched up. But that is some nice racing there, if I do say so myself, because it was myself, of course, so I'm not patting myself in the back, but there you go. If you do want to join, of course, and be a part of any of the Next Gen Racing League's descriptions down below to the links to their Facebook page and Twitter page. Facebook is where it mostly happens. You need to have a PS4 and either Project Cars 2, Assetto Corsa or GT Sport. We have leagues across all 3 of those games and those platform games, running 7 nights a week pretty much. And it is a great place if you want to have good competitive online racing, which is done fairly as well. For this particular league you are watching right now on this channel, it is the V8 Ford Falcon Supercars. There is no setups allowed. You're only allowed to use one of the 2 default setups. You can have any assists you like. It allows it to be open to everybody, so whether you're someone who prefers all the assists off or you're new and need them on to help you about, it is entirely up to you. That is where the fairness comes into it. And if you want to join, click the descriptions below, join up to the page and look out for the comments about what races are on. There can usually be spaces available. You can have up to 16 drivers in this league, for example, as we see Scooby getting wide there into turn 1. And there is always the possibility that you could be on next week on this commentary race from next week, which I believe is from Sportland Sugo we're going to be doing, and you could be on the As Live commentary on this channel with myself next week, and you could be one of the filler drivers into the race. So descriptions below, join up, come and see us. Back to the race in action. 14 laps done. We have only got about 8 laps to go, and it is still 1-2 NGR Scooby and the Farmure way ahead, 7 seconds ahead of Satches in third. So these two are streaking away. You can see Scooby through the carousel, the wheels just turning about. He's really pushing it. You can see why his t-shirt in that advert was such a state. He's really wringing the neck of this thing right now as they come over the line to complete another lap. We are going to hold here just for a moment. I'm just keeping an eye on the timings because it looks like Rico and Vidicas are very close as well, so I'm actually going to jump to them for a second. No, it looked a lot closer on the timing screen, so we're going to skip that. And let's see who else is close. We've got NGR Lager, he has Andy behind him, a couple of seconds. So closest battles on track at the moment, Vidicas coming up to Rico and Slider Gas not far behind. And then it is the top two, so this is the main battle on track. Look at this out of the Kilford Camtech corner. The Farmer was alongside there for a second, so Scooby maybe just locking up under braking. He's got the opposite lock on that 34 machine going through the Fulton Hogan corner there as they come up to the carousel, and he is on opposite lock everywhere. You know what, let's take an inboard look at the driving here from the leader. Sideways coming through, keeping it tidy. Whoa, big opposite lock moment there from the leader. They're coming up on the lap, one of the back markers as well. Looks like it might be the Les who is running towards the back of the field in 13th as Scooby gets the power, really wrestling with that wheel. Just keep an eye on this into turn 1. We're looking for Farmier, but we can't quite see him. Hard on the brakes into the Flexipass corner. He's got it slowed down onto the power and keeps that nicely. Doing very well there, but he's being stopped all the time by the pole sitter. Les coming up, back marker. This could play into the hands of the Farmure unless Les has noticed he's ran wide, so it's going to just make it a lot easier, and he's going to be out of the way. Possibly done that maybe on purpose just to keep well out of the way. It's a very narrow track here at Ruapuna, and he's managed to avoid getting in the way of the leaders. Back to starting lap 16, we've got Rico, Vidicas and Slider Gas. These three nose to tail almost. Rico getting a bit sideways out of the corner. Interesting battles going on. Andy, after that accident as well, has recovered all the way up to 9th already, so he's doing very well, having gained back up the order, having crashed with Ropsky. And there's Vidicas going for the inside line, late on the brakes. Rico, they're side by side, a bit of door barging. It's wheel to wheel. Rico's got the line. Vidicas trying to squeeze him, but Rico's held on a bit over the grass there. But there we go. And Slider Gas has actually been very, very clever and managed to sneak by Vidicas running wide. And he's actually, from looking like he was going to gain a place and move up to 6th, he's actually lost a place and moved down to 8th as Slider Gas tries to get in front of Rico and take over that 6th place. And these ones are battling through the rest of the order. As I say, Andy's moved up to 9th, had the accident on lap 14, I think it was, with Ropsky, waited for the Belgium, and he's made his way back through the order due to some passing and a couple of mistakes, I believe, as well. 10th is Ben Sully, 11th is NGR Lager. Ropsky is in 12th at this particular point in time, and in 13th is Les, who we've seen a moment ago with the leaders. And something has happened to the Farmier as well, because he is now 7 seconds back from the leader, so he has lost a lot of ground somewhere along the line. I wonder if we could find it if we quickly just scroll back and see what is going on, see what happened to the pole sitter and what has caused him to drop so far back down the order. Let's just see if we can find it very quickly. Possibly up here. Yes, there we go. He's spun round at the Cookram Nissan corner. Here it is on the replay. Just caught the grass on entry on the X. Oh yes, just spun it round full 360. He's lost the ground, and that is a big mistake from the number 4 machine, the pole sitter, that is possibly going to cost him the chance of racing for victory here with only a handful of laps to go. But he's now got a challenger keeping back the challenge from behind, which is going to come from Satch and Jim, who are now within a couple of seconds of him and chasing him down. But up front, Scooby G is now on his way, 7 seconds clear, and he is going to be hoping to increase that championship lead that he has up front. And he has now got a bit of breathing space to be able to just pick his lines, get on the power early, get out nice and clean, and just keep on the track. We are jumping back to this battle for 6th though. Rico, slider gas, Vidikas just trying to catch back up after running wide. These 3 are pretty much together. You can see Andy in the background. He'd be hoping to get into this, but his lap times just aren't there to be able to do so. Slider fought about it there, but fought better off it as he comes through the Flexopass corner and along the Castrol Straight towards the pothole. Seen a lot of action this corner. Lap 1, we've seen Vidikas, who's just there in the background of the shot, upside down and stick the landing as well. And we've also seen Andy and Ropsky run wide. We've seen a few drivers go wide, so it's a very tricky corner indeed there at the pothole as they come through Fulton Hogan and come towards the carousel. Battle for 6th and 7th. So looking through the field, and the other close battle seems to be back here for 11th, or at least it was. Ropsky's got wide there, so that is just, he was right with NGR Lager there for a second, but he's just dropped a couple of seconds back now, so we will jump back to 6th, 7th and 8th. Rico, slider gas and Vidikas, oh my goodness me, and slider gas right into the back of Rico. Missed the braking point there, but both of them have got away with it. Well controlled from Rico. Slider gas flashing the lights, possibly an apology for missing the braking point, I would imagine. And he's now going to try and take a run into the Flexopass corner, but thinks better off. It's a tricky corner. You're taking a flat out kink and then braking as you do so. It's a very tricky turn 1. These 3 seem is the closest battle on the track for sure at this point in time, so we are going to stick with this lot for now as we are on lap 18 of 22, so only 5 laps to go, including the one we're on. And despite everything, you never know what could happen. Slider gas has obviously got wide there as well, and that has allowed Vidikas back into 7th to chase down Rico, who's got a bit wide himself going into Fulton Hogan. And this is just proven to be the late end of the race, trying a bit too hard possibly to pull away from the cars behind, or maybe getting distracted by the action around. And these 3 running nearly nose to tail, and definitely the closest battle on track. We can see that Satch is a couple of seconds behind the Farmuir, a couple of seconds ahead of Rico. Whitford is running on his own, about 10 seconds at least either side. Andy's about 10 seconds behind this, and about 4 seconds ahead of Ben, who's a couple of seconds ahead of Lager, and a couple of seconds ahead of Rotsky. So this is definitely the closest battle on track, 6th, 7th and 8th. And we're on to lap 19 now. And Rico, into turn 1, he got a bit side, missed it a wee bit there. He's a wee bit wrong through turn 1 into Flexopass, coming towards the pothole for the 19th time. Using the curbing on the outside. Vidikas using it a bit more. It can be very helpful in terms of lap time, but it can be very dangerous if you just catch the grass. You're going to be doing a spin very, very quickly. You can see with the layout of this track, you can see everything that's going on almost, from almost any camera angle at any point. You can keep up with what's going on very easily. It's almost like a commentator's dream in most senses. You can see what's going on behind, and you can jump between it if you see some action. Leader is now on to lap 20, so 3 laps to go, but we're going to stick with this battle for 6th, 7th and 8th as these 3 come through Cupram Nissan and head down the Dunlop Straight towards the Rock Sweeper, the final corner. And there is not very much in it. It's nose to tail. Vidikas thinks of going for the inside, but Rico's got the line, takes it wide on the outside to get the power. And these 3 lapping around about sort of. Let's have a look here. Rico 22.4, Vidica 21.7, Slidergas 21.4, so Rico seems to be holding them up at the moment. Vidica's really late in the brakes there from the number 44 machine. He's gathered it up before he gets passed by Slidergas, so very good control from the number 44 machine. And he's run wide as well there. That's going to allow Slidergas, who's wide as well, to get the inside, and he is through. So maybe pushing a bit too hard there, the 44 machine. He is trying a bit hard. Slidergas getting up on the curbing there, and Rico just trying to hold it off and keep them at bay as he tries to hold on to 6th place till the end of this race. But up front onto the 21st lap is NGR Scooby G, 6 seconds clear as he seems to be on his way serenely to victory. The Farrier is in second. He was with him all race until a few laps ago where he spun coming out of this very corner here, caught the grass there into Kukram Nissan and done a full 360. That's dropped him 5 to 6 seconds behind as we see Les just rejoining the track there in the background, but he is down in 13th place and a lap behind this battle that we're looking at. Third is Satch, who is 8 seconds off the lead, 3 seconds behind the Farmier. We're actually going to jump to this real quickly because he's got Jim right at his tail, and obviously these two are fighting over championship position as well. 5th place is Whitford, who is sitting on his own. We're going to join him for a wee second. He's got Edu behind him on the road, but Edu, unfortunately, due to the first lap, is running last and a lap down. And 6th place again, as we just discussed, Rico, Slidergas and Vidicas as they come up to the Camtech corner hairpin. 9th is Andy. A bit of an eventful race. He's been doing quite well too. And 9th place is going to be a season best for the Scotsman in the number 12 Jed Gloves machine if he can keep it there. Although if he does too much drifting like that, he might not do so. 10th place is Ben Sully, who's had a couple of offs. He was up with Whitford in 5th and 6th place for a good chunk of the first half of the race, but he has dropped right his way down the order as we go on. NGR Lager in 11th, Ropsky is down in 12th. There is Edu, who's 13th now. He's gained a place on Les. And as we jump back to the front for the 22nd time, coming out of the Kelmford Camtech corner and through to Fulton Hogan, it is the championship leader NGR Scooby G, drifting his way slightly to the carousel and hopefully keep it together for one last time to hit the finish line and take another victory and extend his championship lead after 7 rounds of the V8 Supercar Championship here on NXTGEN Racing. He's coming up to the rock sweeper for the final time. On the brakes, there's Farrier getting wide in the background. That could cost him. Oh, a bit of showboating there from Scooby. But he's got away with it, flashing the lights, crossing the line, and he is taking the victory here at Ruapuna Park. Second is the Farmier, got a bit wide on the exit, but he takes over second. Satch holds on to third, Jim is in fourth right behind. That'll keep those two very close in the championship battle. Going to drop our way back to fifth, a very lonely Whitford. He was having a good race with Ben up until midway point, and it's been pretty lonely since, as he's been not quick enough to catch up with those ahead, but he's much quicker than those behind. The battle for sixth though has seen Slidergas jump up. Vidica is nowhere to be seen, so something's gone on there as they come into the last corner, and it's going to be Slidergas taking sixth place, a very good result for the number 38 machine. Rico's going to take 7th, and Vidicus, here we are, back in 8th place for the 44 machine. Decent recovery considering the first lap, but that is not going to be what he wanted today. 9th place, there is Andy for what is going to be his best result of the season. Les has come over the line as well, a lap down. NGR Lager trying to hold off Ropsky, that's 10th and 11th, and he's going to do so. And then the final two drivers through are going to be Ben Sully in 12th, and we are just awaiting. Les is 13th and skinning everybody stopping over the line and having a bit of fun, and Edu had already dropped out of the race. So that is it for another week. As you can see from the picture on the screen, it was topsy-turvy, certainly for Vidicas anyway, after that first lap incident. Action packed most of the way through, battles all over the place, but at the end of the day it is a familiar face at the top of the table as NGR Scooby G takes the win once again and extends his lead in the championship race. He is now on 270 points and the only man in the 200 bracket at all in the championship. Second place, the farmier, the Frenchman, did get an extra point for taking the pole lap, which has seen him jump up to 5th place in the standings. He took second, and at 1 minute 19.1 was the fastest lap of the race as well. Satch 68, the other Frenchman, taking home 3rd, and that means that he is still in 4th place. I did get my championship standings wrong because I forgot that Bathurst last time out was a double points race, so he stays 4th in the championship, with Jim still 3rd in the championship because Edu is actually in 2nd. But those three are now covered by 14 points, 184 to 170 between the three of them. Whitford takes home 5th place, as it wasn't the most exciting race, especially once Ben had spun out for him. Slidergas taking home 6th place, and Rico Svidicaz rounding out at top 8 there between that battle for those three. 9th place goes to Andy, his best result of the season, taking home 9th, and in 10th place his championship rival of Ropsky, the Belgian, coming home in 10th, but those two not as close on track this time round, even though Ropsky's lap time fastest, as you can see, is a good 4 to 5 times faster than Andy's, so it just shows you a little bit of consistency around here paying dividends for the Scotsman. We round out the rest of the field with 11th, NGR Lagerfani finishing in 11th place there. Topsy-turvy race for him, nearly got Ropsky at the end, despite being head on track, possibly time trial. I don't know what happened there, actually quite interesting, need to have a check on that, but he comes home in 11th, and 12th was Ben Sully, recovering after a couple of spins in the race. You can see his lap time pretty decent now at 120.6, so he had the pace to be in the midfield, and he'll be ruining those missed opportunities. Les comes home 13th, the last runner on track. He was a lap down as well after a torrid time here in New Zealand. He'll be hoping to bounce back next time out in Japan. And the other driver that you can't see there is Edu, who dropped out, possible disconnection towards the end of the race. Obviously he was due to finish towards the back of the field after what happened on lap 1. But that is it for another week of NXTGEN V8 Supercar action. My name is Andy. If you have enjoyed this, please do hit the like button. Comment below. What have you liked about the broadcast? What would you like to see different about the broadcast that I could possibly get into? I'm open to ideas. If I feel they're viable and I have the time, I have no problem looking to implement them in the future. Do hit the subscribe button as well, of course, to see more of these as live commentary races. Click subscribe, click the icon, boom, you'll get the notifications and you won't miss a single race. But that is it for today. Next time out, if I have got the calendar correct, we are at Sportland Sugo in Japan. That will be this coming Tuesday, which is the 29th of May, and the race coverage will be out towards the weekend again to the start of June. So look out for that coming through next week as well. And of course, as I said during the commentary, if you do want to join in, drop onto the Facebook page, links in the description below. You could even be in the race next week on Tuesday as an additional filler driver to fill out the 16 car grid, and you could even become a permanent fixture in the championship. But for me, my name is Andy. As I say, thank you all again for watching, and until the next time, I'll see you again soon. Ta-ra.